Welcome to Ready, Set, Real Estate, where we will help empower and educate you on many different aspects of real estate, finance, and investing. Each week, we will expand your knowledge and uncover hidden truths. We will break down real-world scenarios and study actual how-to strategies. Anyone can buy real estate, but together we'll ensure you make smart real estate investment decisions. Now, here's your host, award-winning author, international speaker, and real estate educator, Lisa Gillett.
Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, folks. What a week. What a work week. What a work week. Listen, I am watching this real estate market. Have you all been staying on top of this thing with the commission lawsuit and, rising interest rates and, what's going on in the commercial market outside of listening to Ready, Set, Real Estate? Have you been doing your own homework? I was on, okay, so first off, wait, I'm pressing buttons. First off, hi, hello, welcome. I'm your host, Lisa Gillett, also known as Super Agent. There's been a lot going on and lots going on. And, hold on, let me put this light on. There we go. Let there be light. Let there be light. So I pinch my hair. I was letting my hair dry, blowing the wind blowing in my hair. So of course, all my little curls got dried out. It's all good. It's all good. As I was sharing, lot of moving parts right now in the real estate industry. I don't think anyone is immune to what is going on, whether you are builder, investor, broker, realtor, real estate professional. I don't think any one of us, buyers, sellers, the ancillary services, your escrow, your inspectors, your appraisers, I don't think any of us are immune. Let me just make sure my mic is good because I found my mic in my purse and there we go. Found my mic in my purse the other day and I was like, here it is. You recall I was using the lavalier mic and I had the Yeti mic. And of course I'm very, very, it's not an anal, but when I go back and listen to my own podcasts for improvement, it must be the athlete in me is working to improve myself, improve my game every time. I go back and I listen to the podcast and I'm like going like this about sound. Like louder. Okay, so in any case, market's going through a lot and I don't feel like anyone's immune. So the conversation that we'll probably be revisiting on the next episode, I'll likely do it next week, will be the conversation of pivoting and expense optimization. That's where we really need to look at this. I was reading an article talk about the 2007 housing crisis in the residential market, and they are sharing and saying that the same is happening. We're seeing this happen in the commercial market. And although these are two separate in terms of this trickle-down effect, you still have these rising interest rates that has put quite a halt on, residential buyers looking or even considering purchasing. So with that, I say, let me do sound check, and then I want to share something I posted about how much you need to earn if you are, see, sound is not even working for me. See what I mean? Hold on. See what happens? Okay. Like the reset. See what happens when you play with your mic? See what happens? Yes, it's like you plugged in a mic. Which mic did you plug in? I plugged in this mic. Let me make sure my mic is in. Okay. We good? Sound check. See what happens? Switching mics. Mic check. Mic check. Checking the mic. Okay. How are we doing? It's really low. I don't like that. My mic is very low right now. Great share. Thank you. How's that? Okay. I fixed the mic. The mic should be better. I fixed the mic. All right, here we go. This is where we want to get back to. Hi, hello, welcome to Ready, Set, Real Estate. I was sharing, I'm probably going to snip and cut all of that in the beginning, but I was sharing about this real estate market just being all wacky. Today's episode, we'll be talking about, as speaking of wacky, and that's why I started to share that. That was like my segue as to what is going on with the market. Hold on, where are we? Boom. The rising trend of seller impersonation. Rising trend of seller impersonation. Before I jump into that, I wanted to hold on. Okay. Before I jump into that, I wanted to share with you. This. What? Facebook is like asking me to log in. Okay, so if you haven't had a chance yet to connect with me and follow, you should. I'm at all social media platforms at LA Super Agent. I am pulling up this screen here so I can do a split screen share because I want to talk about this. Let me share it this way. Talk about the cost. Salary needed to buy a home. This was based on data. So this was released 2023. This is based on 2022 data. And let me bring this down here and discuss the salary needed to buy a home. Pretty much this article was saying that in order to afford, right? I don't like to use the word afford. It is what it is, right? In order to afford, check this out. Look at this. In order to afford a home in 50 of the major U.S. cities, you've got to earn more, you can say more than $100,000 a year. Of course, California tops number one, or California City tops number one with the highest median home price in San Jose, California, costing $1.6 million, which means you would need to earn about $373,000 a year to be able to afford the median priced home in San Jose, California. You see San Francisco is at $282,000 a year, Seattle $170,000, Portland at $136,000. This is not the cost. This is not the price of homes, people. This is your salary in order to buy a home in those cities. San Diego at $209,000, Los Angeles at $181,000 a year to afford the median priced home. Look at that. Let's jump over to the East Coast and see. Miami, Florida, you need to earn $137,000. Jackson, $93,000. New York, $160,000. Wow, so LA is still, and that's interesting because New York, you need to earn $160,000 for a median price home, and I imagine the price per square foot is still nowhere compared to what the price per square foot is in LA or California. or in any of these other states, right? Oh, breaks my heart. Riverside at 133. Riverside's over here. What? Oh my goodness. Las Vegas now is at 100, at 101,000. Phoenix, 103,000. So they come up with this based on putting 20% down, 20% down, and the monthly mortgage includes taxes and insurance. I like that this map factors in taxes and insurance, because when people talk about housing payments, they oftentimes just refer to the principal and interest and don't include the taxes and insurance on that payment. Wow, look at these numbers. If you want a copy of this, go to my Facebook page. I can also drop the link. I can drop the link for you if you want to text me. Send a text 323-488-3265, or send an email to lisa@lasuperasia.com. Do you see what's going on here? That's incredible. Wow, look at these national averages. Incredible in terms of the mortgage payments. Look at the mortgage payments. And this is based on a 6.37 mortgage rate. Wow. Let me read what it says. And this is courtesy of Visual Capitalist. It says analysis uses the standard 28% front end debt ratio and a 20% down payment subtracted from the NAR's median home price data, NAR being National Association of Realtors. It also assumes a 6.37 mortgage rate, source home sweet home, as of May 2023. So the national average of a mortgage payment is $2,300. I'm jumping ahead of this because I actually was going to talk about this next week as well, because they're saying now it makes more sense to rent than buy. I think those of you who are working from home, this may make sense in terms of home office deductions if you purchase something. Very interesting. So the mortgage, let me just pick one. Birmingham, mortgage is $1,600 compared to Los Angeles. Expect to pay a $4,200 mortgage payment. San Francisco, $6,600, and San Jose at $8,700. Wow. So this is what they're saying. At this point, it may just make sense to rent instead of buy. Here's what I say. Do what makes financial sense for you, given your current financial situation. If you have down payment and resource saved, your credit is in a good place, your debt to income ratio is low, meaning not carrying that much debt, and compared to how much income you're bringing in, not too much out happening. Things to think about. Definitely consult with a real estate professional, your tax advisor. If you are thinking about purchasing, let me remind you as well that purchasing is like, it's a plan. It's not, I wake up one day and say, I'm going to buy a house, because the lenders ask for tax returns. If you go full documentation, you don't have to. You can go stated. You can go bank statement only, no tax returns. There's different ways and different creative ways to get a loan. But typically you'll get the better rates if you go full documentation and you go for a conforming loan. Mind you, I'm not a lender. I am an experienced broker. So consult with your team about the moves you want to make and when is ideal, right? If homeownership is your goal, or owning a business or storefront, if that's your goal, that's a conversation that involves tax planning, because typically they will want to see the 2 to 3 years at minimum, the last 3 years of tax returns. Last 3 years of tax returns, so they can confirm your home ownership status, right? Have you been writing off the mortgage interest deduction in the last 3 years? So this one is good. This one is good compared. This map here is a good map compared to the ones that I've seen. I'm just wow, amazed. Look at this. Look at these prices. Kansas, $76,000. Denver, $150,000. We're talking about Colorado, especially Colorado being like a pro-cannabis state. Buffalo, New York, median priced home, $63,000. Washington, D.C., $139,000, upwards of $140,000. Baltimore, $94,000. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. All right. So today we'll be visiting a topic here. We're going to have a discussion about it. I'll just use the notes because I actually was on a phone call that I wasn't expecting. And so I don't have PowerPoint for you today, but we will be right back after the sponsor break. We'll be talking about the rising trend of seller impersonation. Yes, more fraud is abound here in the real estate industry. We'll be right back, you guys. Stay tuned.
Do you have properties that need to be maintained? For professional services that guarantee your property will stay safe and secure, Omnis Property is the team you want by your side. As a company, we pride ourselves on our best-in-class professionals, equipped with the latest technology for all your end-to-end property preservation needs. That means that from start to finish, our expert team can handle everything from accurate assessments to preservation projects of all sizes. Save money and time by working with leading experts that understand your needs and are committed to premier service. Get started today by contacting us for your project estimate. Visit www.omnispreservation.com or call 310-957-9132.
Shout out to Omnis Property Solutions. Now, those services needed now more than ever, especially I have been noticing. Have you all been noticing an uptick in evictions? I have. Call an eviction company and ask them, have they been busy lately? Yeah, I have. California's finally got the ball rolling. I have a couple, not too many rents. I've got a rental, another property coming up for rent on the market, but I've got one that's a room for rent. And because it's priced compared to all the other things we have, because it's a room for rent, the way it's priced and kind of shows online, I've gotten 100 and probably upwards of maybe 300 phone calls. And I've got to remind people, you're not going to find a 3-bedroom house anywhere in LA for $1,000 because the market is where it is. And what I've noticed, what happened in September, there was an uptick in those phone calls approaching October. And when I have conversations with the prospective tenants, it appears that, yeah, they're being asked to relocate. They're occupying properties that are now being sold. Owners are now saying, I want out, right? We've been taking a beating, right? Owners are saying, we've been taking a beating during the pandemic and COVID. I want out. I don't want tenants anymore. I don't want to deal with this. And so we're starting to see, and this is what I said earlier in the year, and I said this last year, and then I said it when the pandemic hit, that we will not see the effects right away of the pandemic. It's going to be this slow churning, you can't even call it a domino effect because domino goes boom, 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 right? Brr, right? No. We're seeing pulling off the Band-Aid slowly, and instead of properly fixing the market from 2018, we put a Band-Aid on it and called it a stimulus. We did the same, kept kicking the can down the road, and now we've been forced to deal with that. We are here now, right? It's here. Okay. With that being said, let's talk about the rising trend of seller impersonation. The reason why I say that is because that means that our market has drastically been impacted. By the way, if you're tuning in on our radio podcast, thank you. Shout out to you. Shout out to those of you who are tuning in on your favorite radio podcast. If you ever want to catch us live, you can tune in on our YouTube channel, our Facebook Watch channel. Catch us live there and make sure you stay connected. Turn the notification on, hit the bell. That way, when we schedule the show or we come on live, you know we're on. And if you can catch the conversation and join the conversation live, it's always fun. If not, replays are wonderful. I live for replays, right? On demand, on my own timing, and when I can, consume that content and information. And I say that in terms of, so segue, right? So segue back to the market with that slowdown, all these trickle down effects with that slowdown, that means there doesn't necessarily mean that we should see less fraud as I was reading from the American Land Title Association. It's not that we're seeing less fraud, we're seeing more fraud because the volume has decreased. The volume of sales has decreased. And the speaker was saying that, fraudsters got to eat too. And it's like, oh, again, those ancillary, all the ancillary services, and everyone who's attached or affected to make money in this business will continue to seek creative ways, even if fraudulent, will seek ways to make money. And here you have it. And I'm going to drop a note here. So let's talk about it. What does that look like? I'm going to take notes here in the box here. So number one, what are we looking for when we are dealing with scammers? So what's happening right now? Scammers are posing as the property owner. Scammers are posing as the property owner of that property. What should you be looking out for? Right? What should you be looking out for when either you're interested in buying or you're even an agent who gets a phone call? Let me go back. So anecdote, story time. I think I shared this, so this comes back again. I got a phone call, and this is what I did. I wasn't really sure if this person lived in the property, they were related to someone. I wasn't quick to jump and call the police, but I got a phone call from someone who received one of our marketing materials and said, hey, I've got a property that I want to sell. Of course, that's every broker's and agent's dream phone call. Someone calls you up and says, I want to sell. It's like jackpot, woohoo, right? And he calls and says, I want to sell this property. Great. What's the address? What's your name, right? And you go through the motion. You go qualifying. What's your name? Best contact? What's the property address? Is it occupied? Et cetera, et cetera. And then when I realized the more questions I asked, the answers just didn't make sense. Wasn't making sense. It says the owner died, but my friend is her daughter, is the owner's daughter. Okay, so she's the administrator, she's the beneficiary. Hey, who's your friend? I need to talk with your friend. I kid you not. People will, send you for a ride, put you through a ride. So be very cautious. What I did is I run title on the property, as we do. We call it front loading. You front load, you confirm who's the owner of record. At least when you look at the chain of title, you can determine to some degree the last owner of record. That is usually public notice. That's something just kind of required to put people on notice that this property is owned by this individual or this entity. And when I confirmed the owner, I said, okay, yeah, this person's passed away. Looks like we're going to have to probate this property. I can refer you to a few probate attorneys, see, connect with them, see which one is a good fit, need a death certificate, that whole thing, having that conversation. And he managed to get a death certificate for someone with the same name. And it started to get really creepy, started to get a little weird. And what I did was I scanned that death certificate in, gave me the death certificate. And fortunately, the property was in a trust. And the attorney who prepared the trust, small circle, small world, I knew the attorney. And I reached out to the attorney and sent her an email and said, hi, how have you been? I came across, someone who's interested in selling this property, and it appears that you may have prepared an estate plan by way of recording this trust document on record. Is this your client? And the attorney said, I'll get back to you. Let me do my research, because it had been years. Fortunately, she checked her file, reached back out and said, not my client. It's not the same person. I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort to go as far in trying to prove ownership record. I don't know who this person, whose death certificate this was, but same name. But she was able to confirm that it was not her client. So that's one example of how they could be impersonating the owner. The other way is be careful when the owner, quote unquote, is posting the property for sale as a for sale by owner. They're coming up with a fake listing, going through, posting it on, directly on Craigslist, or they're asking an agent that, hey, I'll just pay you. I don't want you to help me sell it. I just want to use the MLS, the multiple listing service. Some agents will allow you to do just that and list the property, but will not offer any of the other services as a full service broker. And that seller, that impersonating seller, will pay a fee and be able to market that property in the MLS. I think industry professionals should be very cautious about doing that, making sure you're confirming the ownership, because you can now be involved. It sounds like some co-conspirator stuff you can get tied up in by not verifying that seller is truly the owner of that property. One other reason that we see an increase is, number 2, public records makes owner information accessible online. I could have probably said that in a different way and a much shorter way, but essentially being able to access owner information online, property information. You have the name. What I was hearing AI, so I was canceling a phone line with my cell phone company, and they asked, the system asked, did I want them to create a record of my voice as an ID? I said no. I said, would you like us to create a record of your voice to authenticate you? No. And the reason this was top of mind, because I just read the other day that AI may now be used to create voice impersonations of people. So I'm like, no, I don't want you to be able to impersonate me. Although, I have all this online content. I'm sure you can easily create my voice. You can create a voice from all this content I have. But I said, no, I don't want that. That's not cool. So online access is making that more easier, because people can just look it up and access. And it's interesting because I was reading an article about why LLCs were first created. And now people are creating LLCs and entities to hide. That's not what they were originally designed for. I think the first one, as I recall, was created in the 1970s. I thought it was 1974 was the first LLC in Wyoming. It was not created to hide your assets, as now we're seeing an increasing dialogue of people wanting to hide their assets and creating trusts. There's a trust that owns a trust, that owns a LLC, owns a corp. It's all this hiding we're trying to do because more and more people are trying to steal our identity. There's so much of it available online. From a standpoint of a buyer or an agent, it definitely requires you to do your own due diligence. and look for those red flags. As I say, listening to the story, why the person wants to sell, what is their role? Are they claiming to be the owner? Are they claiming to know the owner? Or they're saying, you're going to go through me because it's my mom's house and she's not really, she's ill and she's, I'm going to help her do it. Tread lightly with that, because you want to make sure that person is competent and knows that their home is being sold. If not, you've got to direct that client to go get a conservatorship. You're going to have to get the court involved to make that decision if they don't have the proper estate planning documentation that gives them authority to make that decision. Got to be mindful. So that's number 2. Number 3 here, in terms of why we're on a rise, right? I said, is the market. Market changes, forcing scammers to create more ways to make money. I started saying this earlier. So our third ways is that the market, our current market, is forcing scammers to create more ways to make money. Don't sign the paperwork until you've confirmed you're dealing with the proper owner. Don't wire any money until you confirm you're dealing with the right person. Don't be opposed even if you deal directly with people. Say, I'd like to use a bank for an escrow account. When all the conditions have been met, I'll authorize the release of the money to you. It's okay if you don't want to use agents and you want to go direct, but do not wire the money directly to someone who is posing as an imposter. Especially once you send that money, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. You will no longer be able to recover that money. Good luck in trying to hire an attorney and get the police involved to track that money. Because I've seen it in lawsuits, hard to recover it. Unless they've retained other assets, you might be able to tie up those assets, but very hard to recover the money. If they've given an account, it's a temporary account, they withdraw the money, and now your money's gone. So be very mindful that this is happening. It's 2023, and with all the advancement of technology, all this information available, we know and see that people are out here still trying to tap into real estate from a fraudulent avenue. That's why it's very important to get title insurance on your deals. It's what the title company has sent out messages to the industry and say, heads up, wire fraud is on the rise. Seller impersonation is on the rise. People are posing as sellers. They're really not the owners. You're getting yourself involved and you feel good. Someone calls you and says, help me sell this property, right? By getting an agent involved, it makes it legit. It's a legit deal. Oh, that's the worst. All right, that's my time, you guys. You have all been fantastic today. We're making it short, sweet, because I've got a laundry list of things that I've got to take care of. I'm glad you're staying connected with us on Ready, Set, Real Estate. We'll see you next week on another information-packed episode right here, same time, same channel, whatever your favorite channels are. All right. Have a productive and powerful week, y'all. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Ready, Set, Real Estate podcast with Lisa Gillett, the LA Super Agent.